Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are talking about a coin that millions of people have held, spent, or ignored, and yet some versions of it have quietly sold for serious money. I'm talking about the United States of America 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar. The bicentennial coin. The one you think you already know. And that's exactly why it surprises people. Most collectors don't realize this coin was never meant to be ordinary. It was struck to celebrate 200 years of American independence, and that alone makes it different from every other Kennedy half dollar. But here's the twist. Not all of these coins are equal. Some are pocket change. Others are the kind you don't forget after you see the price. Stay with me, because by the end of this video I'll tell you which versions actually matter, what mistakes to look for, and what real collectors are paying for them right now. Take a close look at the front of the coin. You still see President John F. Kennedy, calm and familiar. But now flip it over. This is where things change. Instead of the presidential seal, you get Independence Hall, along with the date 1776 and 1976. That single design change instantly tells you this is a bicentennial issue. Show a slow close-up of the reverse here, letting the details fill the screen. These coins were made in huge numbers between 1975 and 1976, so rarity is not about the date alone. It's about how and where the coin was made. Most people have the copper-nickel clad version. Those were made for circulation, and in average condition they're usually worth face value, sometimes up to a couple of dollars if they're clean and bright, but now here's where collectors lean in. The San Francisco Mint also struck special versions containing 40% silver. These were not meant for circulation. They were sold in collector sets. You can't spot them instantly from across the room, but the edge gives them away. Fewer copper layers showing. A more solid, silvery look. Hold the camera on the coin's edge when you say this. In today's market, a typical 40% silver bicentennial Kennedy half dollar often sells for around $8 to $15, depending on condition and silver prices. Proof versions, especially with deep mirror-like surfaces, can bring more when they're well preserved. Now let's talk about the coins that really make people rewind the video. Errors. Some bicentennial Kennedy halves were struck off-center. Others show doubled lettering, especially in the date or the word Liberty. A very small number were struck on the wrong planchet or missing part of their outer layer. These are the coins that change the conversation. When these errors are verified by grading services and offered at auction, prices can climb into the hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases, well into the thousands. Not because every bicentennial coin is rare, but because mistakes at the mint are. Here's a fun detail most people miss. Even though the coin says 1776 to 1976, none of these were actually struck in 1976 alone. They were made over 2 years, which already makes them a little unusual in US coin history. So let me ask you this. Do you have one of these sitting in a drawer right now? Have you ever checked the edge, the weight, or the details under good light? And which coin would you love to add to your collection if price didn't matter? To wrap it up, the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar is a perfect example of how a common-looking coin can still have layers of history, silver content, and rare surprises hiding in plain sight. Some are worth 50 cents. Some are worth far more. The difference is in the details. Top 2. Today we are talking about a coin that looks ordinary, feels heavy in the hand, and quietly carries real silver value. The 1967 Kennedy half dollar. Most people think this coin is common. Some even think it's boring. But here's the shocker. This is one of the last Kennedy half dollars ever made with real silver inside, and certain versions have sold for prices that make people stop and stare. If you've ever seen a 1967 half dollar and thought nothing of it, don't blink. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin exists in a strange moment in US history, what makes some examples far more valuable than others, and which tiny details collectors hunt for that most people completely miss. Stick with me to the end, because the value difference can be dramatic. Let's start by looking at the coin itself. Bring up a clean close-up of the front. You see President John F. Kennedy, sharp and serious, just like the earlier issues. But notice something missing. There is no mint mark. That's not an error. In 1967, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks completely to slow down coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. Every 1967 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in Philadelphia, even though the coin never tells you that. Now flip the coin over and hold the shot for a moment. The eagle is strong, the details are bold, and the coin feels different in the hand. That's because this is not a regular copper-nickel coin. The 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is made of 40% silver. The outer layers contain silver, and the core is copper. This was the final chapter before silver disappeared from half-dollars forever. Here's where it gets interesting. These coins were never released in mint sets or proof sets. Instead, the mint created something unusual called special mint sets. The coins inside weren't proofs, but they weren't regular circulation strikes either. They have a smooth, satin-like finish that looks different under light. Show a side-by-side visual of a circulation strike and a special mint set coin here. Collectors love these special mint set coins, especially in high grades. A typical circulated 1967 Kennedy half-dollar today is often worth around $4 to $8, mostly based on silver value. A clean, uncirculated example can reach $10 to $20. But a well-preserved special mint set coin can sell for much more. In top condition, some have reached several $100s at auction. Now let's talk about the coins that really turn heads. Errors. Some 1967 Kennedy half-dollars show doubled lettering, especially in the word Liberty or in Kennedy's profile. Others were struck off-center or clipped during the minting process. A very small number were struck with missing or improperly bonded layers, creating strange textures and weight differences. These aren't easy to spot, which is exactly why people miss them. When authenticated by professional grading services, error coins from 1967 can sell for hundreds, and in rare cases, over $1,000. That's the kind of discovery that turns a casual coin check into a moment you remember. Here's a detail most people don't realize. Because mint marks were removed and production methods were unusual, 1967 is one of the trickiest years for Kennedy half-dollar collectors. It looks simple. It's not that. So let me ask you. Do you own a 1967 Kennedy half-dollar? Have you ever checked the edge, the surface, or the finish under good lighting? And which Kennedy half-dollar would you love to find in perfect condition? To sum it up, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is more than a silver coin. It's a snapshot of a chaotic moment in American coin history. 40% silver. No mint mark. Special finishes. And rare errors hiding in plain sight. Top 3. Today we are talking about a Kennedy half-dollar that most people spend without a second thought, yet a tiny detail on this coin has pushed certain examples into prices that shock even longtime collectors. The 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar. A coin that looks simple, modern, and common. Until you look closer. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why this coin is still hunted today, what separates an ordinary 50-cent piece from a collector coin, and which rare mistakes from this year have sold for eye-opening amounts at auction. Stay to the end, because one small detail can change everything. Start with a clean close-up of the front of the coin. You see John F. Kennedy's portrait, familiar and bold. Now tilt it slightly under the light. The details pop. Flip it over and there it is, the eagle with outstretched wings. Then look just above the date on the front, or near the eagle on the back. That tiny D mint mark tells you this coin was struck in Denver. In 1972, these coins were no longer made with silver. They're copper-nickel clad, which makes most people ignore them. And that's exactly why surprises still come from this year. The value isn't in the metal. It's in the strike, the condition, and the mistakes. Millions of 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollars were made, so most circulated examples are worth face value. Maybe $1 if they're bright and clean. But uncirculated coins are a different story. Show a side-by-side shot of a worn coin versus a sharp, uncirculated one. Strong hair detail, clean fields, no dull gray patches. These are the coins collectors want that in high grades, especially those certified by major grading services. Some 1972D halves have sold for hundreds of dollars. Not because they're rare by date, but because truly flawless examples are. Now here's where the story gets interesting. Errors: some 1972D Kennedy half dollars show double die features, especially in the lettering of Liberty or the date. Others were struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing. A small number show clipped planchets or weak strikes that make parts of the coin look soft or distorted. These are the pieces that make people stop scrolling. Show extreme close-ups here. Slow zooms. Let viewers see what doubling really looks like. Because once you know what to look for, you never forget it. Authenticated error coins from this year can sell for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on the type and strength of the error. That's a big jump from pocket change. Here's a fun fact. Many collectors believe the 1972D issue has weaker strikes than other years, especially on Kennedy's hair. That makes strong, sharply struck examples much harder to find than the mintage number suggests. So let me ask you. Do you own a 1972D Kennedy half dollar? Have you ever checked it under good light or magnification? And which error coin would you love to find just once in your lifetime? To wrap it up, the 1972D Kennedy half dollar proves that a common coin can still be exciting. No silver. No flashy design change. Just condition, minting quirks, and rare errors hiding in plain sight. Most are worth 50 cents. Some uncirculated examples sell for hundreds. And the right error coin can change everything. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more real coin stories. Watch the next video too, because the next coin we talk about might already be sitting in your change.